Hi everyone, this is Isa Teese and welcome to Isa Teese's blog. This health blog is something that is really exciting for me. I just keep dumping so many things into my coffer about what it is that I would like to speak to you about over time. And again, I want to thank those of you that have contributed to the things that I am going to cover. Keep it coming, keep it coming. You can email me at health@isateese.com. health@isateese.com. Give me your comments, give me your feedback, give me some ideas about what you would like to hear. Today we're going to talk about the 5 pillars of core health. And I'm just going to go over each one of these briefly, and then over the next 5 weeks I'm going to go into each one in greater detail. So today let's talk about the 5 main core pillars of health. And there are offshoots of these. It's not that this is comprehensive in the regard that it's the only thing we think about, but I've just kind of put them into general categories. The first one is nutrition, whole food. The second one is mindset and emotions. The third is environment. The fourth is genetics. And the fifth is inner connection, inner peace, inner joy, whatever your word is about that. We know that health is not just about the body. When people think health, the first thing they think of usually is the physical body. But the physical body is just like a little piece of it. It's a really important piece because without it, we're not really here. But it's also about how we feel in this physical body. And those factors have a lot to do with other aspects of our lives. And when we look at whole food and nutrition, we're really speaking about the body. We're speaking about the deep core level of energy, all the way down to the mitochondria, all the way down to that cellular response that the body gets through the electromagnetics and through the electrical conduits and the connection points that it has that make the body really do what it needs to do. And if we don't have the finest, purest nutrition coming through our system, our body is not going to work at the highest level of efficiency that it possibly can. It can't. It would be like having a car that you can put water in and expect it to run. It's not going to happen. So we know that the nutrition is a really, really critical piece. Now, we can talk, and probably over time we will talk a lot about all the things that have to do with nutrition that we can really spend some serious conversation on. And let's just talk about very briefly some of the things that we generally know. We know that if we process foods, that's not going to make our body function at the highest level possible. We know the processed foods have been orchestrated in a way that they're dead. There's no real live nutrition in it. It's artificial this, preservative that. We don't have a clue about how many foods are GMO, although we're becoming more aware of that. And the bottom line is that 90-something% of the population really just doesn't know. It's not even that they don't want to, they don't know what's there. Now I know if you're here listening to me, you have an interest in health. I know that you desire, and you probably know a whole bunch. Some of you might even know more than I do, probably do know more than me, in a whole bunch of these areas. But I'm here to really speak to you at whatever level that you're at, and hopefully you'll be able to glean something that will make a difference in your life, the life of your children, your family, your friends, and other people. And that's a part of my mission, is to help other people really expand their knowledge base and support other people in doing the same, so we can all live a really happy, joyful, connected, strong life. So the nutrition is really a #1 critical thing. From my viewpoint, it's the first step of where it is that we've got to do. And next week, I'm actually going to talk about that in more depth, and it might even happen before next week. But I really want to delve into this, and I might even break that up into 2 sessions or 3, or I don't know. But the bottom line is, big subject, really, really important. The second piece that we're going to talk about today is the emotions, the mindset. And we know, it's not even new news, that the mind-body connection is a very real thing. Those of you that have heard of Deepak Chopra and so many other people that have brought this to the attention of us as a collective have really helped us know that what we think expresses through our body. It just does. There's something called the Heart Math Institute that has done study after study showing how what we feel in here has to do with what we feel everywhere else in our physical body. It shows the connection between the heart, the mind, the body, and all of these areas, and how critical it is that we are aware of what it is that we think. Now, I've spent a lot of time on mindset study. I've spent a lot of time studying the ego, the personality, whatever word you want to use, as well as how we think as humans and as we do as collective, and how we think as women and how we think as men, and how critical that is in regard to the joy factor in our lives. Because we have the opportunity to perceive things however we do. Now, our perception comes from how we have been brought up, by what people have taught us, by the repetitive patterns that we have acquired from our friends, family, neighbors, TV, media on every single level. We hear it, it must be true. If it's written, it's absolutely a law. Therefore, what we start to recognize is we don't really even know what's true. If we see it more than once, it must be true. And therefore, we start thinking that way. And when we think that way, if it's something really awesome and powerful and uplifting and supportive and healthy, if you will, yippee. But the majority of things that are out there, not so much. Therefore, you're around people that are depressed. You're around people that are not so uplifting. And pretty soon, you start feeling the heaviness of what everyone else is going through. Susie Q over there is having a problem with the finances, and you hear that repeatedly, and you go, well, you know, now that I think about it, mine isn't so great either. And then we start wanting to collaborate with other people because we so much want to be loved. We want to be liked. We want to fit in. We want that tribal connection piece. And when we do that, sometimes we make up stuff that's not even true. And we fall into the pit where other people are when it's not even our reality. So the emotions will set you up to feel happy, sad, mad, or glad, and you have a choice about that. And we're going to talk at great length about that as well. But I just want to leave you in this section with recognizing that your mindset has everything to do with what's happening in your physical body, in your outer world. The third thing that we're going to speak about here is our environment. Now, we know that there's so many environmental factors we don't really have a lot of control over. The chemtrails that go over, that come from those jets that have pesticides and all different kinds of things in them, you don't technically have the opportunity to tell that plane not to take off. Now, there's movements and all that stuff that you can get into to go against those things. But the bottom line is those things are occurring. Those are environmental factors. We have pollution. We have so many fires, all of that kind of smoke, and those things are in the air. We have the oil rigs, and we've got everything, all the industry, all of those other things are happening. That's including what it is that we are breathing in. And then, you know, we've got Chernobyl and all those other kinds of things. But we also have things that are closer to home. We have things like light bulbs. Are the light bulbs full spectrum in your house? Have you ever even thought about that? Or are they fluorescent? Not so good for your body, fluorescent lights. And yet, because it's efficient and cost effective, it's hard to find a regular old incandescent light bulb. I went shopping the other day, and I literally had to look, and there was like these, you know, little tiny section over here. Almost all of them were those squirrely little things that are mercury filled and aren't necessarily your best friend. You also may want to pay attention to all of the electronics around you. I'm like so guilty of this. I mean, I think I said this maybe in the last vlog, but the bottom line is that, I mean, I look around and I have computer monitors and printers and cell phones and everything around. And there are some things that you actually can do that will support that, which I'll speak about when we get to that section of, you know, of the blog. When we talk about that, there's something that's called some kind of glass, but I'll find that out for you because it actually helps absorb those kind of electromagnetics. And there's other things that you can purchase that will help you be buffered against those things. And of course, then the ideal is to not have them. And you don't want to have a lot of electronics in your bedroom. If you're not sleeping well, just look around. It could be because the electromagnetics in your room are actually affecting your health, your body, your ability to sleep really well, and to really get into a deep REM sleep. So we'll talk about that when we talk about environment. The other thing that we want to talk about here is genetics. Now, genetics, you don't really have a conscious choice about that. Genetics is what you came in with. You might look back and think, what does your family have? I know with my genetic background here, my grandmother had diabetes and had legs amputated and was really, really ill. My grandfather had strokes. My father had diabetes and had strokes and had his legs amputated. And I was a lot like my father, and my mother and my father had their varicose veins stripped like 3 or 4 times because they did not have good circulation. Well, I saw that, and I, for some reason, was fortunate enough to recognize that. So I've paid very close attention to always exercising. I'm exercising, and for a long, long time I have done that because I realized that the exercise is really, really critical. So it's important, and you can start thinking about this now before we actually get to that section. Think about your genetics. Maybe write down, literally write down what's in your family history. And then you can write to me, and I can talk about some of those things when we get to genetics, about some things that you can personally do that will help support you in usurping that. Because I'll tell you, I have darn good circulation. I don't have any of those issues. It's really powerful what you can do to usurp or to come against those things that are kind of there with a real high propensity. And it doesn't matter whether it's diabetes or heart or cancer, or my mother had cancer, you know. I don't mean I have to have cancer. You have a right, you have an opportunity to do everything you can. Will it 100% guarantee it? No. But you got a pretty good chance of doing things differently, especially when you get to it young enough. So the next thing that we want to speak about here is that interconnection. The interconnection is that place called peace. It's called keeping the stress level down. Another one of my personal favorites. Interconnection, being connected. I meditate and I listen to supplemental tapes, and we'll talk about some of that when we get to this. And I do all these different kinds of things with help. But I'm a very highly sensitive person. Because of that, I feel like everything. I can feel what people are feeling. I can feel what the computers are feeling. It's like, it's really hard on the physical body sometimes. And so I must learn how to handle stress. Not just mental and emotional, but physical stress. And when I'm looking at ways that I can do that, it allows me to be in a deeper state of internal connection to God, to spirit, to whatever your word is. And if that's not in your belief system, that's cool. Then just work on your body and your mental, emotional pieces. But I will tell you in my own personal experience, it really, really helps when I've got that connection point really plugged in, and I know that I've got somewhere to go to get that sense of peace and hold that sense of peace in my morning, in my afternoon, in my evening, and as I sleep. So those are the 5 pillars. We have health and whole nutrition. We have mindset and emotions. We have environment. We have genetics, and we have inner peace or interconnection. Each one of these I will go into much greater depth over the next few weeks. So come back and join me and be thinking about where each one of these sections are and where you fit in and where do you evaluate yourself. So you might want to do that test that I've given some of you many times, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Are you like really not taking such good care of your health? Or do you eat processed foods? Do you eat things that are not good for you? Do you drink too much? Are you addicted to sugar? Are you a caffeine addict? Are you a Red Bull champion? What are you? Where do you fit? Are you down there in the 1, 2s, or 3s? Or are you up there at an 8 or a 9 or a 10? And do the same with each one of these categories. And just go out of curiosity, introspection. If you want a real change in your life, then you're going to have to start to wake up. You're going to have to wake up and pay attention to what it is that you have going on right here, right now, and together we'll carve out a pathway that will take you where it is that you would like to go. I'm here as an information support. I'm here as an energetic support. You're the one who's going to have to make the decision about what you want to do. So I look forward to having you be with me next week, and I would like to invite you to go to the right-hand side of the website, isatisblog.com. That's isatisblog.com, and sign up so you get a notice every time I post, because over the next few weeks I'm going to stop sending an email that I'm going to be posting, and I'm going to hope that all of you have actually put that there so you know when I am posting and you can be a part of it. The second thing that I'm asking you to do, please tell your friends about this. Please forward this blog or isatisblog.com to your friends and ask them to get engaged in their health, because I can tell you that when you feel healthy, when you feel strong, when you feel confident and alive and really full of life in the most amazing way, your attitude's different, your neurotransmitters are different, and isn't it going to be fun when we have more and more people in that state of mind? What you do individually is important for you, but what you do individually is affecting everyone else. You're a model. You're an amazing person who's making a difference in the world by just being who you are. I really look forward to connecting with you next time. Until then, feel a big, healthy, happy hug and connect with me. health@isatis.com. Let me know what you want to hear. And go below and make some comments. Let's get a conversation going. I appreciate it a lot. I look forward to next time. Take care.